Welcome to another episode of A World Made of Cardboard. Now, due to time constraints, I've had no time to really build any models or even upload videos because of just life in general. But I have been doing things behind the scenes. I have been designing, I have been building prototypes and doing all sorts of things. But one thing I have been doing is finishing out this. Now, these are transformers that I reacquired. I sold my original ones years ago. I loved Sixshot and Quickswitch when I was a teenager. When I saw them, I was like, this is what I really want to get. I really like them. Now, I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have a lot of stuff, but I did have not a lot of toys, but I had toys. But I really enjoyed the completeness of everything. That's why I always kept the tech specs and the instructions. Now, I just recently acquired this for this guy, Sixshot. When I was a teenager, when I bought Sixshot, I kept the instructions sealed. I did not open them up because I saw this little thing on these little wording on the package, on the instruction that said, before opening, challenge your skills. See if you can transform Sixshot into all 6 devastating modes. And I kept it sealed. Then one day, out of the blue, I decided to open it and regretted it ever since. Well, not too long ago, I saw this on eBay, a sealed set of instructions for Sixshot. I bought it. It was expensive, yes. I bought it because I wanted to complete this set. Now, one of the things that I've tried to do with my channel is I don't really go too much into buying a lot of expensive toys. There are channels out there that will buy all sorts of expensive things, but if you know anything about my channel, you also know that I have bought a few rather expensive toys and added to them and changed them and modified them in order to update what I have. Now, this brings me to an interesting little conundrum. Happiness, fulfillment, and nostalgia. Right now, there is a new movie that will be coming out in the first part of June, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. It looks good, the trailers look good, the toys look good, everything that I've seen about them looks good. I never really was into He-Man much. I never really cared for fantasy that much. But I can see as I'm watching these trailers, I just feel that tingling down my back as I'm like, this is incredible. This is going to be a neat little trip down nostalgia lane. But is that something that we really need to do? And the purpose of this video is to look at what I went through to get Sixshot and Quickswitch into this set or stage or level of completeness, and the cost that it took. Was it worth it? Now, some people say, well, just do what makes you happy. Well, happiness is fleeting, and you always want something else. I find that when I'm doing my paper models and stuff like that, I find fulfillment in making these things. I design them, I make them, I build them, and I print them out and put them up online for people to be able to build. This model and all these other models that I have are available on my YouTube channel for you to be able to download and build yourself, totally free. I'm not one that likes to spend a lot of money. So why did I spend a lot of money on this? Now, when I was a kid, I really liked Doctor Who. I loved the idea that I could travel throughout the universe in any time, any place, anywhere, and just enjoy the adventure. That's why I took a lot of my Star Wars figures and made them into Doctor Who characters so I could enjoy that time. Well, Doctor Who didn't last long on my PBS channel. It went off the air sometime in the mid-90s or something like that. I don't remember exactly when, but it went off for a while in the 80s too. So I didn't have access to a lot of Doctor Who stuff. But that still didn't stop the fact that I liked the idea of traveling throughout the universe. Blake 7 was another show that I liked, and I liked the idea that there were spaceships and things like that involved. So I took the original Sixshot and Quickswitch and came up with this idea that they were the last two survivors of the Cybertronian War. And on Nebulos, there were 4 Nebulon target masters that survived as well. These are the target masters of Spinister and Quick Mix. They were the last ones that survived everything. Now, on Nebulos, they had to leave because the Nebulons were like, you guys destroyed everything, you're leaving. These two decided to team together because they knew they wouldn't survive if they didn't. Even though they hated each other, they still realized they had to work together. These guys joined them. And so this group, 2 Nebulon bad guy target masters, 2 Nebulon good guy target masters, along with Quickswitch and Sixshot, traveled throughout the universe exploring everything. Now, I was a teenager at this time, and I was about 2 years before I graduated from high school. So I didn't really sit down and play with my toys a lot. I just did things. I would set them up on shelves and dioramas. I would get toys and do things with them. I discovered that I could combine the weapons with the target masters and make more complex designs and things so that Sixshot and Quickswitch could actually wield the target masters. Now, if you know some of my other videos, I didn't like the idea of Sixshot teaming up with anybody. But in this case, I had the sense of he could leave whenever he wanted to. He didn't have to stay there. And he could tell them that he was just going to leave them and that was going to be it. But he knew if he did, it was going to be difficult for him and everything else. So he decided he would stick with them for a while. So these guys would travel throughout the universe and encounter everything from air raiders, visionaries, war planets. I had several of those toys when I was in high school and into the 90s, actually. War planets was more in the 90s than anything else. I got them and I used them with them to make my own little stories and concepts and everything as they traveled to try to find any other Transformers that may live. But again, why was this so important to me to get these back again? Why that little nostalgic feeling? Now, happiness and nostalgia are not the same thing in my book. For me, nostalgia can also lead to being sad. You look back at something that you had and you're like, I'll never get that back. For the longest time, I didn't think I was going to find the instructions to this guy. Every time I would find one, they would be in terrible shape or they wouldn't be good. And I was like, I'm never going to find it. I was even considering selling them again. But when I saw this one, I was like, okay, that's a lot of money, but I want to get it so I can complete this little set. Did this work? Is this a nostalgic rush for me? Well, in all honesty, yes it is. I really enjoy this. Now, my paper model stuff, all of that, can be expensive, can be more expensive, can be cheaper. Yes, you can just buy a big ream of paper and build dozens of paper models. But why did I choose to do this? What was that feeling of nostalgia that made me want to reacquire all of this once again? And then on top of that, I bought these as well. When I saw this Sixshot in the store, I was like, that is beautiful. He's fully posable, everything. I really need to get that Sixshot. But he was $55. And I was like, that's a little expensive. At the time, we were going through a little financial problems with kids in high school and medical bills and stuff, so I couldn't justify it. That was around Christmas, the year he was released, I believe. And I saw him sitting on the shelf at Walmart, and I was like, this is going to be, I'm just going to have to say, sorry, I can't get it. But when I came back after Christmas, I noticed he was gone. He wasn't there at all. And I was like, well, some kid got him under his tree. The next week I went back, they had a clearance section. And buried in that clearance section was this Sixshot. And my youngest daughter was with me, and she said, how much is it? I don't know. He's sitting here in clearance. The box is a little beat up, but let's see. He rang up for $19. And I was like, that's not bad. And my daughter said, you're getting him. I was like, what? I don't know if I can. She said, you're getting him. He's your favorite. You're getting him. So here he is sitting here. Now I've added to him. There's a video I did where I upgraded him with some of the recent parts and everything, and gadgets and weapons and all sorts of things to make him into a more unified toy. But I also got this guy. This is Mad Law by Fans Project. He is the Quickswitch version, six changer. And I looked at what Hasbro did with their version of Quickswitch, which was a special release in a box set with other things, just a recolor of this one, and I didn't like it, but I got this one. I made some modifications to them. There's a video I did on that. But you're probably thinking, okay, so a little more of a nostalgic run. But it didn't end there. If you remember, though, in my original G1 version of them traveling throughout the universe, I had the Target Masters with them. Well, I wanted to get some upgraded Target Masters. Now, most of the Target Masters that Hasbro released were not posable, but the Thrilling 30 versions with Scoop were. They had posable arms. And I liked the fact that they could transform into a slender gun. The arms would fold behind, and it would make a nice little weapon system for them to hold. Now, there's something quite interesting. They did release a Spinister. He was a Transformers Collectors Club version that came in this box. Yes, I bought it. I spent close to $200 just to get this toy. I have never taken Spinister out of this box. He's still just sitting in there, but I did remove Singe and Hair Splitter, the two Target Masters, because I wanted them to go with Sixshot. So now I have a modernized version of the things that I enjoyed in my childhood, all because I wanted to relive that one little moment. Now what's neat is I also found that these little toys can interact with the weapons that they have as well, but in the same way as my G1 versions could. Interlink with them and interconnect and all sorts of different things. It made for a more interesting setup, an interesting concept of how they all interact and work together. But back to the nostalgia. What was the point of this? Why did I spend so much money just to get to this point? Nostalgia is one comedian said, it's a drug for us. We get this motion, we get this feeling, we get whatever feeling it is, and we are ecstatic about it. There are, like I said earlier, nostalgia can be positive or negative. There's times I'm looking at pictures of my family home, the home that I grew up in. It's no longer in the family. My father sold it just a few years before he died, and I can't go back home. But I can kind of relive what I enjoyed a little bit. I can look at the things that I did and say, hey, this is kind of fun. Maybe that's what nostalgia does. Maybe that's what these things do. Do I feel fulfilled on getting this together? When this was complete with all the instructions and everything, all the little paraphernalia, there was a sense of completeness that came in. Sense of, I did it. It's done. I am happy now with the product that I've done. I'm probably the thing that most toy stores don't like, most little collectors' toy stores don't like anymore. I just go in and look. I don't really buy. I don't really have the desire to buy a lot of toys anymore. This past May 9th, I turned 55. I am done with collecting. I have other toys in my collection that are on display in the other room. These have a prominent shelf on there, and that's it. I look at them and go, hey, it'd be kind of neat one day, maybe if I see them, to get this little thing and put it with them. Maybe one day to do that. But until then, I'm happy with what I've got. What's neat is how I acquired them. I bought these off of an eBayer by the name of Gojitron. He has a YouTube channel. Wonderful guy, good friend. I really enjoy working with him, seeing his stuff. His videos are incredible. These I bought off of eBay with that Spinister. It just popped up one day and it was like an incredible price. Still expensive, but it was pretty good. These guys, Quickswitch, I bought off of eBay. Same thing with Sixshot, but the Quick Mix's little Target Masters and Spinister's Target Masters I bought out of Dallas Vintage Toys. I know exactly where I got them. I went in one day and there they were, and the staff was really helpful and got everything that I needed right there. They have their own website too. If you really want some really good service, good knowledgeable people, go look at Dallas Vintage Toys. But all of that together, all of that was unplugged, by the way. No solicitation, no nothing. I had no benefit from saying that they're a great store, other than I really enjoy going there. But like I said, I'm done with collecting. Does that mean I'm done with nostalgia? No, I'm not. I still look at these. Now, I'll probably be putting out a video probably later on with these guys describing some of the stories I came up with and some of the things that I did with them. But I wanted to put this out because, as you know, as I said earlier, I build stuff out of paper. I build stuff out of cardboard, cardstock, whatever, because I found that to be more fulfilling than just holding a toy. But I also wanted to show that I do understand when someone goes out and spends hundreds of dollars on a toy. Now, if they really, really want it. I don't understand when people just buy because of the sense of buying. Oh, I just got to get them all, that type of thing. I grew up in a time when a G.I. Joe figure, I could buy 6 of them for less than $20. Now I can't even buy one for $20. And to me, that's just not good. I just didn't like that feeling. But I still liked the feeling of getting this complete with the money that I paid for it, even though it was expensive. So my whole point of this video is for you to answer in the comments. Talk about it in the comments. See what you think about it. Or is there something that you would buy? Is there something that you wouldn't buy? I mean, there are people that I know that they'll spend hundreds of dollars on golf clubs and cameras. And you can spend thousands on cameras, and if that's your hobby, you can spend hundreds on a single golf club. I hate golf. I don't understand why people like it, but some people do. That is the difference for me. So that's all I have in this video. Just a little summary, a little look at what I've done in getting to this point. And if you've stayed on watching this long, thank you for watching. And I hope to see you in the next video.